Today, my guest is Natalee Clarke-Richards, and she is the owner of Love Out Loud, LLC. Yes, LOL, Love Out Loud. And her book is called Love Out Loud. And it's all about how she overcame these self-limiting thoughts, these things that tell us that you're not worthy, all those kinds of feelings to become the person she is today, a coach, a mentor, an author, and someone who just truly believes in love. I invite you to share that conversation with me right now with Natalee Clarke-Richards. Welcome to Shelf Life. So good to have you with me today.
Thank you for having me.
You're most welcome. I've been looking forward to talking to you because I'm really big on the whole idea of self-empowerment and self-worth. And as a Christian, I always, when I hear people talk about we're not worthy, and I was like, no. We're very, very worthy. We are quite worthy. Christ died for us because we were worthy, So, you know, stop saying I'm not worth it because I don't believe it. So I was very happy to read your book, and I see behind you, it says, believe there is good in this world, because there really is. And I like that.
And then be the good.
See, I actually just read it all the way across. Yeah. So be the good, right? Be the good in the world. Amen. Okay. So before we get to talking about your book though, the actual book, I want to talk about you, Natalee. Tell me about yourself, where you're born, where you grew up, all that kind of good stuff.
All the good stuff. So I was born in Kingston. I know many people always say, oh yeah, everybody was born in Kingston, but I was
too. I wasn't raised there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was born there the first 2 years of my life, and then I moved to live with my grandparents in St. Anne, in the countryside of St. Anne, a place called Clydesdale.
Okay.
Really quiet town, beautiful. And so that's where I spent my first, from age 2 to 11, after I passed my common entrance exam. So I lived with my great-grandparents, and the most humble people I know. I mean, they're deceased now, but man, They really taught me humility. So those were my best years, I believe, because they really molded me. Now I really go back to those values that they instilled in me. And that's
siblings. What school did you go to? Anything else we can hear?
I know. So siblings, it's interesting. So my parents were teenage parents. My mom, in my book, I talked about her experience, and she had me when she was 15 years old, and my dad older than her. So I have 2 sets of siblings. My mom, after she matured and she got married, she has 2 boys. So I have 2 brothers on her. And then my dad, who still lives in Jamaica, has a whole host of us.
Isn't that a very common story though?
Very common. Very common. Yeah. I am still meeting siblings on my father's side. It's so interesting. But I'm the eldest of both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went to Clydesdale Primary School, and then I passed my common entrance, and I went to an all-girls high school in Brownstown, St. Hilda's.
Oh, you didn't go to Westwood. You went to St. Hilda's. Okay, you're a Hilda's girl.
Yes, the school on the hill, and that was an amazing experience in sorts. But it did help shape me as well, because a lot of times, even in my adult life, when I meet fellow Jamaican women, they will pinpoint that I went to St. Hilda's just by my demeanor, and it's very interesting. Yeah, they're like, oh, she's so prim and proper. She probably went to Hilda's.
Yeah, you go to Catholic school back in the day, and you had no choice, really. I mean, yeah. I went to Catholic school my whole life. My entire schooling from start to end was Catholic school. So yes, there's something about those nuns standing over you that kind of either whips you into shape and keeps you there, or turns you into the rebel without a cause.
Very true.
That just goes wild.
Yep. I have both experience.
Okay. I have been both. I have definitely been both. So talk to me about your book. Love out loud.
Love out loud.
Love, it's funny that you said that, because when LOL started, before I was told it meant laugh out loud, I thought it meant love something lots, or I don't remember what it was, but I didn't know that's what it was. But love out loud, I think, is a wonderful, wonderful thing to do with LOL.
Yeah.
And it's all about empowerment. You know, it's what's your passion? What is your inspiration for writing the book?
Yeah. Like love out loud, laugh out loud. When LOL came about, it was interesting. I was like, yeah, we're laughing out loud. How about we love out loud? And so the thought came to me way back then, and I didn't do anything about it until when I started writing the book. And I was like, you know what? My book is going to be love out loud. And I started researching and realized it was a whole movement already.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know, there are lots of love out loud, different versions of it happening. But I decided to stick with mine. And love out loud, I grew up in the Caribbean and in Jamaica. And like, you know, our parents and grandparents loved us. Yes. I know they loved it, but they had a really weird way of showing it. I didn't experience the love out loud. Like, I would just know that my grandparents loved me because they provided for me. They nurtured me and all these things. But I don't recall ever hearing it. I love you. I love you. You know, that constant affirmation of the love. Like, I don't recall ever hearing my father say it.
I think my father started saying it when we got older, but you knew, I mean, we provide for you, we feed you, we take care of you. When you're sick, we nurse you. Of course we love you.
But the affirmation is so important to a developing mind, to hear it. So even though I feel it and I know, I think I know it, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. And many people that have gotten feedback from regarding the book, they said the same thing. You know, I never thought about it, but you're right. I don't recall ever hearing my great grandparents saying, I love you, you know, or that affirmation piece of it. So I just wanted to put it out there that we can love out loud. We don't need to hide and share our love. It can be displayed out loud.
I think it probably is one of the reasons too why even with my kids, they grew up hearing it all the time. I mean, they say it to each other. The sisters say it to each other. My grandson hears it all the time. You don't walk away after being together without saying love you. You know, it's like how we end our conversations. It's a part of today, but it really, really wasn't so much a part of what they grew up with. So it's wonderful that you have taken it and you're trying to teach people that it's okay.
That it's okay. Yeah. And it's the same I share with my son. I'm sure he knows, but I also want him to hear me say it consistently. So it's etched in his mind. If he ever, you know, questions it, well, at least I heard it and I felt it and I know it.
And he can then turn around and show it.
Yeah, exactly. Showing it.
Yes, showing it. There's a pivotal point in your life, though, that you brought out in the book that I do want to talk about. And you tell a story about being called a nuisance and just how that colored your life. Tell us about that.
Oh my goodness. It's so amazing, the things that adults say that they don't know. We internalize and we're listening. And I believe I was 13 or so when my school principal said that to me. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that memory was brought back to me, that's how I was running my life. It was, I love personal development. So I was doing that. And there was an exercise and it triggered my memory back to that 13-year-old girl, that I was pretty much doing everything myself or not depending on people. As my school principal, one day when I felt sick and was walking to the nurse's station, she met me in the hallway and she didn't even, I told her, I was like, I don't feel well and I'm going to the nurse's station. And she looked at me. I don't think she's ever seen me before then. You know, it was a big school.
Yeah, you were just one of the many.
I was just one of the many. And she had her hands in that power stance. And she said, go back to your class. Stop being a nuisance.
Oh, wow.
And oh my God, she did not let me go. And I went back to my class and I remember looking up the word nuisance in my dictionary. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, this is how I'm showing up. I didn't articulate those
Right,
thoughts,
at
but
the
in my
time.
head, that's what I was saying. I don't ever want to be a nuisance. I don't like that definition of a nuisance. So I started growing up just hiding and doing my own thing because I don't want to be a
Yeah, a
nuisance to
nuisance.
anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it did not serve me.
Words are so powerful, and
Words
people don't understand how powerful words are. The Bible says that life and death is in the tongue, the power, the tongue, and what you say is so important. And as you talk about your principal, I remember overhearing a conversation my mom and my dad was having when I was probably about 14, 15, because I was always different from my sisters, I was the true creative, true free spirit, didn't follow the rules, did well, but just always outside the box. Got the maths answer right, but not by using the formula, kind of thing. And I've heard a conversation, I don't know what it was they were talking about, except I heard when they said, well, if it was Judy who did that, then we would understand because we expect anything from her. And I thought, oh my God, how freeing. At 15, those words freed me.
Oh my goodness.
To be myself, because I realized that they expected me to do anything, crazy or good. They expected it. And so I did not have to live up to these very, very, very high standards that my siblings had set. I could just be me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was to my detriment a lot of the time, but yeah, I was still being me.
You're still being you, and you grew and you experienced, and you can differentiate, okay, this doesn't work and this works, and you have all this experience, opposed to when you're so sheltered and in that box.
Right.
I remember my coworker, and we laughed. She called me last week and we cracked up. We worked together for about 12 years. And now that I've written the book and I'm doing coaching and I'm speaking, she said, I don't even know this woman. Because when I met Natalee, she was in a box, and you could not reach her. She was just like so boxed in. And
the ropes all around it. All roped in.
Yeah, all roped in.
You have a quote in your book that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite Confucius quotes. It says, he who says he can and he who says he can't are usually both right. Yep. And when I talk about your book being about empowerment, some of the principles that you talk about in your book is creating the life that you want. How do you do that? Tell us a little bit more about what's in the book in terms of the steps and what you actually share with people.
Yeah, and it's funny enough, my mentor, Jack Canfield, who I have the certification on the success principles that I train on, that's one of his first principles. Before then, I didn't realize that's what it was. But after I did my certification, I was like, oh, that's what I wrote about. E plus R equals O, which is the event plus your response equals your outcome, and you get to create around that.
Right.
So it's so important. We are all creative beings, but in that same space, we have all these events happening around us. Most recently, COVID, it's an event, even though very detrimental, and I'm not diminishing that, but it's an event, and how you respond to it gives you the outcome. Some people respond in a positive way, or how they said, okay, all this didn't work for me in the past. Now that it's almost like a reset for them. So they've done all sorts of things. They're responding in a different way. So when we can get out of it in the new way, the outcome is different. While some people may be, they're so taken up with the event that they're either in anxiety or whatever emotion is being triggered is giving them a different outcome, maybe not one that they want. So it's why I always say to people, we are all experiencing an event, but the most important piece is the response to the event that is going to create the life that you want or you don't want. So we always go back to that. Okay, what am I experiencing here?
Right.
How do I respond to it?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give me my outcome. And it's just that it sounds simple. It is simple,
It
but
is simple, but
it's
we don't practice it.
you don't practice it. It's the practicing of it. Every single day, get up, practice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the event. What's my response? It's going to give me the outcome.
And it's the practice of not just every single day, but every single moment of our life, every single decision that we have to make is how we respond to it. Because I coach young people and I do training for young people, and it's always about how am I going to deal with this? What exactly is it and I'm doing with the circumstances I've been given?
Yeah.
Because creating your own destiny or creating your own life, the life you want, is not just about setting these steps. It's about how you're going to respond. Because what do you say, and you do it so well in your book, to somebody who says, well, I did all the right things, but it still came out wrong? What do you say?
It's and it's true. You're like, okay, what is right? Did you really do it? Go back to the events, because they don't lie. Your experiences don't lie. How did you respond to it? If you really, really take the time, and it is a lot, it can become overwhelming to go inward to really see how you're showing up. You'll see that all the things that you've done is as a result of those choices. You're the only one making the choices. And that's what life is showing you. Here are your results.
Mm-hmm.
So
no bad luck don't exist?
Bad luck, good luck, I don't know. No, it's your choices that you're making that's giving you those outcomes. And if we're honest with ourselves, it's true. I mean, if you got a bonus from work, it's $1,000. You have a choice. You can either save 500 and use 500 to spend on yourself or do something you like or travel or whatever. You make that choice. Or you got $1,000 and you're like, woo, I am going to splurge. And you splurge $1,000. Later on, you'll see that you invested $500 and it gives you a return on your investment. Or later on, you're looking like, man, I got $1,000 and I blew it, and now I could really use
$1,000. Yes.
It's all in how we're choosing the thing, or daily lives. It's as simple as that.
And there's something to listening to yourself too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you hear people talk about when you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. And you hear people talk about, oh man, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But if I thought in my head, something was saying, don't go into that store. And we didn't listen to that. Mm-hmm. And in your book, you talk about the power of intention.
Yeah.
The
power of intention. When I learned that word intention, it was lifesaver, because it's literally how you live every day. I for myself, I wake up and I ask myself, what is my intention for today? Like, what do I want to create? Because we have that power. The Bible tells us that God gave us that power in us to create. So I really do set my intention. I'll journal. My intention for today is to be happy. As you see in my book, behind each page is spaces for you to journal as well, and just to share your thoughts. So each morning when I wake up, or even the night before, I'll set my intention. My intention for the next day is to create joy, is to create happiness, is to share love. And whenever there are events that are taking me away from that, my brain will remind me, today's intention is to create joy. And I'll bring it back to, okay, I'm not experiencing joy in this moment, so let's change this. Or I'm not experiencing happiness in this moment. Let's shift those thoughts. And it does take practice.
I was just gonna say, and discipline.
And discipline. And I talk about discipline too. It takes all of those. But it's a work in progress, and you're worth it. I'm worth it. So I really choose that for myself every day. because I'm worth it. And we spoke about being worthy,
Right.
the beginning. And it's just knowing that I'm worthy of this and I'm going to choose happiness no matter what my environment is bringing me. I'm choosing happiness in this moment.
So it's about living in the moment, really. Planning
And
for the future, but living in the moment.
yeah, yeah. One of my favorite authors that I read, Eckhart Tolle, and I went to see him in Miami just before the pandemic. He talks about being in the present moment. And he, there's this example that he uses where he says, in this moment, tell me what problems you have in this moment, not 5 minutes away when you're thinking about your bills or whatever, in this moment. And I can't think of any in this moment. I am grateful to be speaking with Judy. I am in a conversation in this moment. That's what's present to me. So if we just use that as an example, just to live our lives, it will save us from a lot of anxiety.
It's something that resonated so well with me in your book, because I believe in that in this moment. I plan. I'm a planner. I juggle like 5 or 6 different balls every day. It's different companies that I'm running and different things that I'm doing and shows and radio and everything. I juggle a lot. And so I have to plan and I have to be a planner. But I so believe in living in this moment, because this moment is all I really have.
All we really have.
It's all we have. We don't have 5 minutes from now. Anything can happen 5 minutes from now. You can walk out your door 5 minutes from now and that's it. A friend of mine was picking coconuts, something as simple as picking coconuts, fell off the ladder.
Oh my goodness.
And broke his arm, and that changed the whole course of the next several months.
Yeah.
So you have to learn to live in the moment that you are in, even if you are still planning for the future. And I like that resonated with me. The other thing that really resonated with me was you talk a lot about the power of love.
Yeah. The power of love, because I can't remember what scripture, but there's a scripture in the Bible where it says, and the greatest of all is love.
Is love. Yeah, Corinthians.
Yes. And it's true, because you can use love to cover anything you're experiencing with anyone. If you're having an argument or whatever, and you come from a space of love, you can literally shift a relationship. You can shift a friendship. You can shift. My father and I, we didn't have a bond growing up, and he didn't understand me, I didn't understand him, and we just had this tumultuous thing. But after I started working on myself, I decided to start coming from love, knowing that all his experiences shaped him.
Right.
And that's his experience. It's not mine. So now I'm going to shift all of that and come from a space of love whenever I interact with him. And I see him opening up every time I go to Jamaica. He's there to pick me up and take me wherever it is that I want to go.
Love is an amazing thing.
It's an amazing thing. And it's all because now I've chosen to experience that with him. Whenever I interact with him, that's the space that I'm coming from. And he opens up and he shifts. He's not this angry man that people think he is. He is so gentle. And I'm like, where was this when I was a teenager? But because that's not the space we were operating in then.
Right.
Now,
they say love fixes everything. And I have to clarify that somewhat, I think, because people have used that to try and get people to stay in bad situations, that you can use love to fix it. And I always say that, love is about loving totally, loving you as well.
Yes.
And talk about that, the importance of the power of love, not just loving other people, but the importance of loving yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for clarifying that, because yes, I would not encourage anyone to be in an environment where love is not being shared. And that's exactly true what you said. You have to love yourself to know that this environment, this space is not conducive, and I must walk away in love.
In love, in love.
Walk away and say, okay, this is not serving any of us. Let us choose to go separately or lose the friendship or whatever, but still have that love and respect and trust, or love and respect for the friendship that you had or the relationship that
Right,
you had. And now you know that, okay, I am choosing this for myself as well, and know that
right,
that's okay, that you're not being a bad person, or you're
right.
not being whatever people may say, that you're literally choosing it for yourself as well. So that's a good clarification.
And letting people go out of your life when they want to leave
When,
is
oh,
actually an act of love.
yes.
If I love you and you want to go, go. I love you enough to let you go.
Yeah.
I love you enough to recognize that this is not good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not happy. This is not, and this is not just husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. This is just relationships in general.
Yeah.
You know,
It's funny that you said that, because at first, because of how I grew up, I always think that if I have a friend, I've known this girl from high school, we need to be friends
hold on to her.
But then as we grow and evolve, it just naturally just dissipates, and that's okay. It's not that I don't like my friend anymore, but we've grown apart, we've evolved into different women, and that's okay. I don't need to hold on to you and
Yeah.
think that you're supposed to be loyal to me, and now you have other friends, or you're not including me, and now that's okay. We've evolved. Friendships die, and that's okay.
And sometimes it's not even die. It's, as you say, it's an evolution.
It's an evolution.
We have to learn the principle of time and seasons. I have a book called Time and Seasons, and that's one of the principles I learned early in my life, because I lost somebody who was very dear to me at a very young age. And I had to learn that, some people come to stay forever. Some come to teach a lesson and they leave, whether they die or they move on to another set of people. Some come just because you need something at that particular time.
Yeah.
Or they need something at that particular time, and it works. And so that whole idea of loving people enough to let them go, I think is very, very, very important. But your book, Love Out Loud, really resonated with me, because I believe in loving out loud. I believe in telling people you love them.
Yeah.
I believe that it's okay for a male friend to tell another male friend, I love you, man. Brother, I love you. I think it's good.
And that it's okay. And
it's okay.
Yeah. That's just what it is.
And it's okay. I'm seeing more and more men now, like on social media, who are not afraid to express their love for their family, or a colleague or a brother who is in need. I have one friend, I won't call his name, who is very expressive that way. And I find it so refreshing. And I mean, he's a man's man. He's a man's man by our terms of what a man's man is, if you know what I mean. Real man, as we would say in Jamaica. I'm not sure what that means, but you know what we mean.
I know. I get it.
But he's not afraid to say, this is my anniversary and I love my wife.
Yeah.
Or this is my daughter and I'm proud of her. Or, my brother in New York is just lost his son and I love him, and I'm thrilled with the idea that in this world where there is so much hate right now, that we are still pushing the concept of love.
Yeah, absolutely. It's why Love Out Loud is so important. I believe that we can cause a ripple effect with love. Each one, we just expand the love and let it go out, and it would hide all the hate, I believe, or not hide, but
well, it's the only thing that can conquer hate. Yeah, love is stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Good is stronger. Yeah. Without a doubt. Well, Natalee, it has been wonderful talking to you. Love Out Loud is the book, people. You got to check it out. Check out Natalee. Go find her. She's on all the usual platforms where you find everybody else. Yes. And her book is on Amazon and all the platforms where you find all the other books. So you gotta go check out Natalee and Love Out Love. And she's my J-Wolf sister.
Oh, yes.
Jamaican woman of Florida. And I gotta give a big shout out to the Jamaican women of Florida, because they do good things, do big things. But Natalee, thank you so very much. I wish you every success in not just the book, but in also your speaking, because you speak, you're a speaker, you go out and you talk about this whole concept. What are your last words for my viewers?
My last words are, know that in this moment, your experience matters, you matter. And I want you to know that we're all in this together, and support is important. And if you need support, reach out, and it's okay to let someone else know your feelings. Don't hide it, share it with a trusted person, and support each other, and know that that's okay.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Natalee. It's been wonderful. Thank you for joining me on Shelf Life. I'll see you at the next J-Wolf event.
Yes, thank you for having me, Judy. It was so fun.
And I'll get to see you in person when COVID done keep.
Yeah.
Enough blessings.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.
Well, that was Shelf Life, and we've come to the end of another program. Boy, I'm telling you, there's something about love that is so great. And I hope you'll go out and get love out loud and just help yourself to really, really get beyond our self-limiting thoughts into a space of just complete love. It was wonderful as always having you, and I'll see you again next week, same place, same time, right here, where you'll see what else we have on my shelf. Blessings, walk good.